Oh my gosh, we're so excited to be here with you today, looking at the upcoming Aries equinox new moon and a lot of powerful energy around Aries. I'm here with Zoe Flowers. I'm so excited to introduce you to her. She is through a series of synchronicities and high magical events. We have connected and recognized each other as soul sisters, and we
Yes.
have so much to share with you. We're so excited. And so I'm going to turn this over now to Zoe so she can tell you a little bit more about who she is. In addition to, I mean, she did a tarot reading for me that was amazing not too long ago for my birthday. And that was part of how we met. So I'm going to let Zoe tell you more.
Thank you, Cayelin. Yeah, the high magic. I think that I came across one of your videos on YouTube, reached out, and then that was it. The magic was in play. So, just a little bit about me. I'm Zoe Flowers, and my pronouns are she and they. And actually calling in today from the land of the Podunk people in Hartford, Connecticut. And yeah, I'm a tarot reader and Reiki master and new yoga instructor, still figuring out what that means for me. And just I'm just somebody who's really into magic, the magical world. It's literally what I want to talk about every day. I love doing readings and yeah, just finding out the mysteries. So I'm ready to dig in.
That is one of the ways that you and I connect so much because we're both super into magic
Yeah.
and really paying attention to the magical things that are happening in every moment of every day. So I'll just share a little bit about what's happening, and then we're going to look more deeply. And Zoe's probably going to give us some tarot cards to look at that'll help us guide us through this time as well. So here we are on the cusp of the equinox. You may be seeing this at the equinox or after the equinox. Doesn't matter when, because the energy is present in what we're sharing right now.
Mm.
And there's so many insights and things that are coming through on so many levels. It's just amazing. So the sun moves into Aries on the equinox March 20th and of this year that we're recording this. The new moon is a few hours later at 0 degrees Aries in a few minutes. It's getting close to 1 degree of Aries, but it's so close, and it's been 19 years since we had this close of a new moon. To the equinox, it'll be 19 years before we have another one. The other thing about this new moon is it is called a perigee new moon, meaning it's closest to the earth. And when the moon is at a new moon or a full moon close to the earth, the impact on the tides and the tectonic plates and the geomagnetic field of the earth is magnified. So every month there's going to be higher tides and lower tides and different kind of things happening. This has been going on now. This is the 5th month in the row, and it'll stop with this particular new moon happening. And we've been having crazy weather. That's something that'll happen at a perigee new moon or full moon. We've been um, we've been having more earthquakes and storms and all kinds of things going on. That's just one of the effects that this can have, because it impacts us physically, mentally, emotionally, as well as the earth. It's impacting everything. So it's a powerful new moon at the equinox, time to plant the seeds of intention for going forward. And with the Aries energy being so present, so we've got the sun in Aries, the moon in Aries, we've got Mercury in Aries, we've got Vesta in Aries, Jupiter and Chiron in Aries. They've been doing a dance. They were exact earlier this month, and then they'll stay within 5 degrees until May, and then within 10 degrees past that. But we've got a few more weeks of this. And if we think about Chiron in Aries, Chiron is the shamanic healer. It's about healing the wounds of the past, so that we're no longer at the effect of them. They become our medicine. And so planetarily, we're in this opportunity to heal the Chironic wounds around the Aries mysteries. Aries being about the sacred warrior, having a cause, a mission, a purpose that is serving a greater cause or a noble cause or a worthy mission, being able to act on that. But we've lived in a distorted patriarchal dominator culture for so long that it's all that the Aries energy got turned into using it as a way to conquer and as a way to control and manipulate. And when Aries is really healthy, it's really about how do we protect, how do we support, how do we create a safe space for new ideas and new things to come through. So how are we now intending that to come forth at this time with such powerful Aries energy? And so before we started, Zoe and I were having this amazing conversation. I'm going to hand it off to you now, Zoe, so you can see it, so we can step into that part of it and just start talking about some of the things that were coming through for us when we were talking earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So, I was going to actually ask you, how long would people be feeling the effects of this? But I decided I'm going to ask my astro dice. Um,
Oh,
so for the collective, so for the people who see this video, and as you were speaking, I was like, so before we got on the call, I was knocked out today. I was so tired. And so I was wondering, with all of this energy, might people be feeling really sleepy and just because there's just so much energy. So I was going to ask you that.
yeah, so I love that you brought that up because I've been feeling it. My husband's been feeling it. A lot of our friends have been getting back to me and saying they've been feeling it. And so yeah, absolutely. It's high energy. And Aries, fire sign, it's all about action and
Yeah,
taking committed, inspired action.
yeah.
But but we can exhaust ourselves if we're not careful about how we're doing that. So, yeah, and getting enough sleep and getting enough rest. Last night, I really had trouble sleeping. I went to bed at a decent time and I just was like flipping and tossing and
Yeah.
turning. So it's because I have such high energy and I'm sensitive to that. And so other people may be feeling that as well.
Yeah. So I think I went to bed early and then I woke up about 3 and I just was like around here doing things. And so for the folks that are going to watch this, the collective that are going to watch this, this card was just sitting right here staring at me, Shakti energy. And so it's going to be really important for us to really think about and really key into what we need for our energy, not what is expected of us, but how can we get recentered and refocused so that our energy is flowing and directed in the way that it needs to go. And so when we think about this, so I got 8 months. So for the next 8 months, really focusing on your energy, drinking your water, getting your rest, and maybe even doing a meditation where you're in this cosmic egg, and maybe a good affirmation for the next 6 months, next 8 months is I am safe. And I'm hearing I am wanted. Wow. And I am whole. I am safe. I am wanted and I am whole. And so no matter what is happening around us, these three affirmations are to ground us and to key us into this energy. So that's what I just got right off the bat. So I always like to give an ally. They're not ready for that yet. Okay, so we'll start with an animal ally to help us stay in our heart.
And so while she's creating that, I'll just say that Aries really is an energy when it's healthy. It's very loyal to the cause. It's very committed to the cause that it's most excited to further, to stand for, to be there for, to make sure that it happens in the world. And if you don't know what that cause or mission or purpose is, that's okay. No, that's one of the questions to be asking, to figure out what can you commit to. Is it your health? Is it your well-being? Is it your family? Is it your work? Is it something you haven't even thought of? Is it a spiritual path? These are the things that when we're in this high Aries energy that we want to be tuning into and taking time to take action for. So what animal is going to help us do that?
So I actually got the hawk in reverse for sight. And so then I immediately pulled from my Murder of Crows tarot deck, because it's like, okay, what's keeping us from seeing things clearly? And I got the Chariot. And so typically the Chariot is about moving forward and things like that. But what I feel like is perhaps we need to withdraw and go internal. So it's like, if we are charging forward too much, if we're too focused on money, we're too focused on career, we're too focused on sort of quote unquote success, because the Chariot can be sort of success, but success by the world's standards. But behind the scenes, things are not amazing, right? And so it's like really looking at this hawk medicine and looking at things from a higher perspective. Where do you need to slow down?
And it looks like they're ravens pulling that chariot. Is that
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Wow.
This deck is ravens and crows.
Ah, beautiful.
Mhm,
So the bird tribes are here helping to
mhm.
guide us through this time, connecting to the raven has to do with magic, and hawk, of course, vision and seeing the bigger picture. Yeah, love that.
I love that too. Thank you for that, because some we would have to slow down, right, to pay attention to the birds, to hear the messages, to see things properly. I'm feeling like there's clouded vision, which makes sense with social media and so many distractions. I'm almost surprised that I didn't get the 7 of Cups, because I'm feeling like there's a lot of distractions. And so what I'm curious about, I love all of this. What I'm curious about is, what is the right mindset and approach to get through this energy? And so we got the 6 of Swords, which is all about moving forward, but moving forward with faith, right? So the thing I love about this card is the way that they have their heads down, right? They're not trying to micromanage the person who's rowing. They are there for the ride. They are trusting what's happening, right? And so I feel like that is the vibe. And we have Judgment. So for me, this is also an ancestor card, and it's also a zombie card. To me, this is like reawakening. It's like time to come out of sort of a zombification, or like going through life again, not seeing, not feeling, not connecting. This is a time to move forward with these swords in our mind, in our ideas, turning our attention to different things. And really, and you mentioned purpose, and we do have purpose here as well.
Beautiful.
Mhm,
Yeah. I think that sometimes we don't know what the purpose is, and Aries likes to move fast, and it can get bored quickly.
mhm,
So it's like it just always wants to be moving into the next thing. So the slowing down piece is so important,
mhm,
because it's like if you're just charging ahead and you're not really thinking about it, and you're not really tuning into it and feeling it, and then bringing it into a greater sense of awareness as you're taking action and
mhm.
trusting. I love that, because it's like I think sometimes with the Aries energy, I have some personal Aries on my chart. So
Same.
I've been learning to trust what I know without knowing how I know it, because we're so conditioned in our culture to have a plan, to have it make sense in a logical, linear kind of way. Aries isn't about that. It's
Mm,
like sometimes you just take the action because you know
mm,
without knowing how you know that it's the right thing to do, or it's the best thing to do, or it's the most effective thing you can do in the moment. And it'll lead you, and that if you take that step, it'll lead you to the next step and then to the next step, and it's not logical, linear, rational necessarily.
mhm,
So this is brilliant, and it's such a good reminder of a way to operate in a time of Aries intensity
mhm,
that's going to continue on for the next several months as and
mhm.
I would say, I mean, Chiron's going to stay in Aries until I think it's 2026, 2025, 2020. I don't know the exact date, but it's there for a while.
Mhm.
And so the whatever's being seeded now is going to be unfolding over months, and actually years as well, in terms of helping us to heal the wounds that we have around the Aries mysteries. That is oftentimes how we are not allowing ourselves to go with what we know is right for us, but what we are being told is the right thing to do. And sometimes that's that the dominator culture wants us to do things, go to war, or be successful in a certain way, as you mentioned, Zoe. That's brilliant too. It's like that's not really what it's about.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do we restore that cosmic order and that sense of alignment with great mystery within ourselves? So beautiful. Anything else for you?
Well, it's funny because I said I'm surprised that I didn't see the Seven of Cups, and there it is.
Ah!
Here it is, but it was in reverse. So when it's in reverse, it's about clarity and responsibility and still distractions as well. But I think that, not allowing the distractions, not allowing the news and the people that are beating the drum of that other side of Aries that you're talking about, not letting that get into our mind. And perhaps it's I'm using this Work Your Light deck. I think that this
Mm,
deck wanted to come forward for this conversation. So let's see about those sort of connecting to our life aspect. Wow. Okay. So this was sitting on the top of the deck and I just shuffled and it came out again. And so it's all about mirrors. And what this says is what is triggering you. I like to use the word activated and not trigger, but trigger is, very sort of the stereotypical Aries, right? The way it's marketed right now. And so perhaps it's stopping and asking, um, what's stopping me from seeing things correctly, and not just asking, but really moving away from those things. So again, it could be taking spiritual baths. It could be turning off the news. It could be turning off our phones and things so that we can, hmm, the thing about the roses here, with the roses being such a high vibrational flower, it could be spending time outside, especially since things will start to blossom um, soon. Yeah. And so I'm feeling like it's not just what's triggering you, but also what's blossoming and moving towards what's blossoming and moving towards your purpose, as you were saying, to really get to that higher octave of that Aries energy.
yeah, I mean, Aries it's all about action. So activate is a good word. And when we allow ourselves to be in that place of not having to know how we know, or not having to have a really logical way of figuring it out, but just trusting that if we're being inspired to act in a certain way, just to trust that and
Mhm.
go with it. Um, I, I just was having this thought about, I've had times in my life where I've heard myself say yes to something, and then in my mind I'm going, "Are you insane?"
I'm doing that now. There's some things that I have said yes to, and I'm like, girl, why did you do that?
Right? But then down the road, it's like, "Oh my God, that was the best
Ah,
thing to say yes to ever."
yeah.
So we don't always know, and we don't want the mind to get in the way of our knowing, and that can happen. So this is our opportunity to let that go and be able to see a bigger perspective, or maybe we don't see it right away, but we allow for this, we allow the space for that to happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking this is awesome.
Yeah, this is good. Is there anything else around sort of all of the planets and that are in Aries? Is there anything else?
Well, we definitely have the Aries feature, and the other thing that's going to happen a couple of days after the new moon is Pluto's going to move into Aquarius, and I
Yeah.
think we should do a video about that and looking into how we can work with that,
Yeah.
because it's been since 1777
Mhm.
that Pluto's been in Aquarius. I mean, it went into Aquarius in 1777, in April of 1777, and was
Mhm.
there for 20 years. It's going to go back into Capricorn for a short time, and then it's going to go back into Aquarius in January of 2024.
Mhm.
So, but I feel like we can speak into that down the road, because this is probably a lot for people to take in already.
Oh, I know. I'm always like, and then I'm like, but
More, more.
it's recorded, so you can pause, you can rewind. When the channeling, when it comes through, it
Yeah.
just comes through.
Yes, I know, it's so good. So we hope you enjoyed this, and we're planning on doing more, so stay tuned.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.